Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to make a Christmas log. We're going to be using buttercream and the almond sponge joconde. You'll find the two recipes for that in my playlist Patisserie Basics. You'll find the link here or in the description below. I'll show you a few different ways of decorating the Christmas log after we've rolled it up. And then I'm also going to show you how we can make some nice edible Christmas decorations. When it comes to choosing the flavor of our Christmas log, buttercream is actually quite easy to add flavors to. So we got a lot of choice. We can flavor it with chocolate. We can either use real chocolate and melt it, or we can use pure cocoa powder. A few other examples here are I've got pistachio paste, I've got hazelnut paste. You can also use almond paste, or also sometimes called almond butter, and why not even peanut butter. If you want to flavor it coffee, for instance, what we call mocha, then just take some coffee granules, dissolve them in some boiling water, and then add that coffee paste to your buttercream. Buttercream also works really well with alcohol. So Bailey's Irish cream is a very good example of that, or spiced rum. But it's also very delicious with Cointreau or Kirsch liqueur. So we're going to flavor our buttercream. I need a little bit of darker buttercream. You'll see when we assemble the log why. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my buttercream we've made out, and make sure the buttercream, it keeps easy in the fridge, but if you're going to be using it, make sure you take it out 2 hours before you're going to use it. So I'm just going to take a little bit and keep it aside. And this I'm going to flavor with chocolate. This Christmas log is pistachio flavor. I'm going to stir my pistachio paste, as most of the time nut pastes tend to have the oil floating at the top. So I'm just going to stir it in again and then add the pistachio paste to my buttercream. So I'm going to mix my pistachio with my buttercream, and we're just going to keep working the buttercream until it's nice and creamy again. If it's a bit too firm, what you can also do is just put it in the microwave, but very short, like 5 seconds, and then it becomes quite soft again. But this should be fine. And then just keep beating it, and you'll see the buttercream will become nice and glossy again. That's it, it's creamy and glossy and easy to work with now. Okay, and this little bit of buttercream, I want to flavor it chocolate. Just melted some dark chocolate in the microwave. And now just mix this. That's it, perfect. So I baked my sponge yesterday. I've put it back in the baking tray on the baking paper, and then just wrapped it in food wrap or cling film to stop it from drying out. And I've just stored it overnight in a cool place. It doesn't have to go in the fridge, but try and find the coolest spot in the house. So I've cut my almond sponge sheet, or joconde we call it, to the correct length I want my log to be. And joconde sponge is actually quite flexible and quite moist. So it doesn't really need any soaking with syrup. If you want to, you can add a little bit of sugar syrup. And the reason why I do it is I just made some sugar syrup, which is equal parts water and sugar. Just bring it to the boil, let it cool down. And I've added some Cointreau liqueur. And that's going to give an extra layer of flavor to my Christmas log. Next, I'm going to put a thin layer of my buttercream. I don't want to put too much, as we're going to put quite a fair bit of buttercream on the outside. That'll do. Okay, we're going to roll up our Christmas log, and we're just going to fold the first little bit And no need, you know, like you see those tricks with the towel. Joconde is very easy to use and it's quite flexible. The first layer might break a little bit, but after that it becomes quite flexible to roll. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna put my log on a cake card. And now first I'm gonna add a very thin layer of buttercream again. Okay, for the time being that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna take a piping bag with a small round nozzle. And I'm gonna put my chocolate buttercream in my piping bag. With my piping bag and my chocolate buttercream, I'm gonna pipe 2 little heaps of buttercream onto my log, just like that. So that's one. And I'm gonna put one on the other side as well. You don't want to put them in a straight line, just to make it more natural. We put them a bit on the sides. And that's 2. You'll see in a minute why. Okay, so now we're gonna cover the cake with our buttercream. We're gonna mask it. The French term is masquer, so I guess we can call it mask it. I'm gonna show you 2 different ways, because one way is with a piping bag and a piping nozzle. Most piping nozzles come in sets now, and that's the one I want. So it's a flat piping nozzle. One side is even, the other side has like little teeth, it's serrated. If you don't have a piping bag or don't have a nozzle like that, don't worry, I'll show you another way of doing it by hand. Keep the piping bag between your thumb and your index finger, and then just twist it to close it and tighten it. And then what we're going to do, we're going to squeeze with that hand and we're going to guide with the other hand. And then we just, with the teeth on the outside, just going to pipe it. Yeah. This does not need to be perfect by all means. You don't see a perfect log in nature either. And when we come to these dots, we pipe around. So when I come here, I start at the top and go down. And then back to the other side. And I'm going on top. You can even add a bit more here as well. And then here I'm going to start that top and go around as well. Here one more. Bit more. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to do the other side. Slightly overlap them. And really don't worry if it's not all 100% even. It doesn't need to be. Actually, it looks better if it doesn't look too perfect. But let's say you don't have a piping bag or you can't find that nozzle. So then you're gonna have to apply the buttercream with a palette knife. So what we do is we just take buttercream on the palette knife and you just apply it. Okay, we got the other one already on there as well, but you will understand the principle. You just go all over it, just smoothing it out. And again, here on the dots, you can put some more. So I'm going to leave one side like that. If you need to add a bit more, add a bit more. And again, don't worry about it being perfect. It's a log, it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm just going to add some boiling water to a glass. I'm going to heat up a teaspoon or coffee spoon. Look, in one smooth sweep, I'm going to cut off the top of this. And just scoop it off. That's it. So next I'm going to decorate the log ends. And again, I'm going to show you two different ways. I got my chocolate buttercream in a piping bag, and this time with a small round nozzle. I'm just going to try and show. So what we do is we start in the middle and we just pipe around. And at the end just go from one side to the other. That's it. That's my end. Or you apply it with the palette knife. Just like that. And then with a fork, just make the half circles. That's it. Again, no need for perfection. So now we can start the final decorations. First I'm going to sprinkle on a little bit of cocoa powder. And next we're going to sprinkle on some icing sugar. It's better to sprinkle it first before you take the tops off from the tree stumps. But I can just take a little bit more off, just to have the visuality. On the other side as well. That's it. We're gonna make some simple edible decorations to go on top. This is just some white sugar fondant which I've colored with food colors. So I got some brown, some red and some green. First I'm going to use the brown and I'm just going to roll it into a long, say like a piece of rope. You can roll it as thin as you want. You want to make it a little longer than the actual log. Yeah, and then I'm going to take it in my hands and I'm just going to lay it on my Christmas log and then just fold it on itself. Then just loop it to the end. Again, just let it flow naturally. And then maybe we can add one more. I'm just going to start there. And again, just let it drop naturally and it'll stick onto the buttercream. That's it. Roll this out a little bit. And I'm just going to cut it like this. Next, take a piece, put it in the palm of your hand and then put your other palm on top and then just roll it a little bit so you get a shape like this, pointy ends. I'm going to lay it on some clear plastic. I'm going to fold it in between plastic and then I'm just going to push this down with the back of a glass and we'll get a leaf shape. And now our leaf shapes, whilst they're in between the plastic, we're just gonna smoothen out the edges with our fingers. Just run your fingers over, don't push too hard, don't want too thin. So that's our leaf shapes. And now with the back of a knife, make an indentation in the middle and then just draw the sides of the leaf. Other side. Don't push too hard, you don't want to cut through. And that middle line, you don't need to make it straight either. Just look, do a wavy figure. And then just... So to turn our normal leaves into holly leaves, we just take a small round piping tube and we just cut off the edges. That's it. One next to the other. And there we have it, holly leaf. So now we're going to add our holly leaves to our cake. I'm going to just put it down there and then just give it a little twist. And then one on the other side. And just like that. So maybe two more there. And another one there. Yeah, we do two, and then on this side we do three. That's it. Next we take the red colored fondant. We cut tiny little portions of. That'll do, and then in between your thumb and your fingers you make little balls. You just lay them on there and they'll stick naturally because the fondant's still soft. And three more there. And actually we can put a few more wherever you want them. Just throw them on and they'll stick to the buttercream. And there you have it, a 100% homemade Christmas or Yule log. Thanks for watching, have a lovely Christmas and a happy New Year, and see you next time.